Hello everyone! Today I'm gonna show you how to make any computer mouse completely silent. I have these two mice here to show that this mod can be easily installed in any mouse. And to install this mod, you're gonna need these KL silent switches. I bought this pack with 10 on AliExpress and it is super cheap. You can install the mod and you'll still have spare switches to replace them in the future. I'll leave the links in the description. Here's the comparison with a regular mouse switch. This is responsible for making that characteristic clicky sound. But the silent switch makes no noise at all. And here's how my mouse sounds before installing the mod. To install this mod, all you have to do is disassemble your mouse and look for the switches. Some mice use the same model of switch for the middle button too, but it's not the case in this one. The normal switch is a bit larger, but the height is the same. Your buttons will keep the same travel distance after installing the mod. With some low melt solder, desoldering the switches is a breeze. Just spread the solder on the contacts and the switches will fall off. That's because the low melt solder will melt at a lower temperature and it'll stay melted for a longer time. After removing the switches, just clean it up with some desoldering braid. It will quickly absorb the low melt solder. Then you can cut the piece and repeat the process. With the board cleaned, you can put the new switches. There is a third hole that isn't used, but you don't have to worry about it. The switches will work fine even without the third hole soldered in. Solder one of the legs of each switch and make sure they are aligned. Then solder the other leg and you're done. You can clean any excess of flux with some isopropyl alcohol. And check if the contacts are well soldered. Let's see the difference now. It may still seem a bit loud, but that's because it's really close to the microphone. Here's the difference at a distance. No noise at all. In a gamer mouse or a mouse that is more advanced, the boards might be a bit more complex, but you can still find the switches right away. This time I'll desolder the switches with a desoldering pump. is a bit more complicated as you have to melt the solder and activate the pump while the solder is still hot. And here's the final result. And that's it. This mod is super easy and cheap, and it's perfect if you are still starting to develop your soldering skills. And it doesn't just work on a computer mouse only. I've shown before here gaming controllers with mouse switches, like the GameSir X2 and the FlyDigi Apex 2. And you can use those silent switches on those gamepads too. Basically, everything that uses a mouse switch can be modded with the silent one. Again, I'll leave the links in the description if you want to get some for your projects. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.